Hello everyone, Darren Rawlings for the social media team for Emerging Civil War, and you're at the 10th annual symposium, and sitting next to me here is my good friend and co-founder of Monuments for UK Veterans of the American Civil War Association and honorary secretary of Descendants of the London branch. Now, me and Gina have been on a little bit of a journey and a bit of a pilgrimage this week, and we started on Tuesday. We went to the Point Lookout camp, which was where John Davis would have been sort of looking after as far as being on the USS Tulip, and of course then that took us round to the spot where the Tulip would go down, and there's a memorial there. So I just want to get I want to know about your experience of getting to do that and walk in the footsteps of John Davis.
A very, very important pilgrimage, as you said. I mean, my great-great-grandfather, George Denham, as you know, was member 8 of the London branch of American Civil War Veterans. Had John Davis, the founder of the London branch, gone down and not survived when the Tulip went down in November 1864, I doubt hundreds of people would have had their life made, they wouldn't have had their life made slightly easier. The destitute people living in Bermondsey. John Davis spent 30 years as a missionary, he was such a selfless man. 71 years of age when he founded the London branch. He had a drive and passion that I've not seen in many people. And so it really kind of underlines why going to Point Lookout and that area of Maryland was such an important trip for us. So just you wanted me to just build a little bit on why John Davis was patrolling. So you said look after. I guess in some respects, if he had the choice, he would have looked after them. He referred to those Confederate prisoners in a very empathetic way, that they were being treated like rats in a hole. The job of the Tulip was to patrol the waters either side of that peninsula. And upon the command, it being a mortar boat, were tasked with bombarding any sign of rebellion within those Confederate POWs. Because of the draft of the boat, it could patrol those waters anyway. But the problem was they were really overusing it. And obviously in that fateful night on November 11, 1864, the commander, William H. Smith, was, told, don't use that second boiler. But he wanted to get back to Washington. The one boiler had been condemned. But as you and I know, the vessel went down with the loss of virtually all of its crew. So that pilgrimage to go there and to actually see the man who, in some respects, looked after my great-great-grandfather, 137 other Civil War veterans, and all the parishioners of the borough of Bermondsey for over 30 years. This was a debt of gratitude that I personally had to go and pay.
And again, I would definitely go and visit Point Lookout and look out for the Civil War trail signs, because there's loads of those. Anyway, we then went on to Petersburg.
Yep.
And went to the crater, and of course I tasked you with finding 2 veterans, or a couple of veterans that had fought at the Battle of the Crater, and you did that, didn't you?
Yeah. So
tell us a little bit about them and that experience. What was that like?
So obviously our work is for any veteran of the Civil War who's buried in England, Confederate or Union, whether they were English-born or British-born or not. But obviously, you'd given me that special mission brief to find at least find anybody that we could pay our respects to, who was British-born. So, say for example, I found John T. Cartwright, and John came from a family. I think they were potters, and he was regular army. Had served in the regular army from about 1857. Then he served in an Ohio unit, and then he transferred to the 27th, you might have to correct me, US Colored Troop, where he was a captain. And as you recall, we managed to find, courtesy of my friend William Griffin, who's got the Spared and Shared Facebook page. He does a lot. He does forensic transcriptions. And he found, probably about 2016, go to his website, you will see the full transcript of the letter that John T. Cartwright's brother wrote concerning his brother's death. One standout phrase was that it was described as a perfect slaughter. So John T. Cartwright died on the day of the assault on the Battle of Crater. So I've got to thank you for giving me that special mission, but also just for me, just shone some light on the horrors of that day.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah.
And so first time at the symposium, how's it been?
Oh, wow. I'm like a rabbit in headlights.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just lost for words. I mean, today, real treat listening to, and yesterday, just the whole thing. But remembering that today and this period of time is the 160th anniversary of the Battle of Mobile Bay. I think I'm correct.
Yeah, it is.
And listening to that day and, David Glasgow Farragut's experience, or did he really say damn the torpedoes? And I love that kind of forensic examination of that. But all the guest speakers, networking with all the authors, just all different people within this very interesting kind of topic. So yeah, great, really good.
Well, thank you. Well, all that is left to say is I'm Darren Rawlings, this is Gina Denham. We'll see you online and on the battlefield. Cheers.